This is your fiance, Adrian. Hope you have a great birthday. I love you very much. I hope we get hammered tonight. Have a good time. And you're a big poop.
Let's go. All right, good morning to all the folks out there, of course, in Texas land or wherever. Just wanted to do a video about the ID.me. I know how frustrating and annoying this can be for people, so I definitely wanted to make sure that we, or at least that I, try to put something out there that might be helpful to some folks. I've definitely have gone through this with a number of people who've reached out to me for assistance, and so I wanted to make sure that this video is available to not only them, but anyone who stumbles across it that might be having some issues. So let me go ahead and grab my my notes. Okay. All right, so before I even get into the website, the first thing I want to discuss is just the basics of getting started and how this comes about. So, as anyone can tell, there's a whole lot of fraud happening with people setting up, fraudulent claims, especially with the pandemic. So that's nothing new, but it definitely was on the surge during the height of the pandemic, and probably still happens now, of course. So what was probably not so utilized in the past is more than likely being being utilized even more right now, and that's for people to verify their identity before they get paid out from their claims. And there's some cases in which some people are, whenever they file their new claim, was in that 4-week window for that claim to be investigated, like they're getting asked to complete their identity verification. There are some people who have had claims for months, and then after maybe they're 6 or 7 months, then they're being asked to do it. I don't really know the rhyme or reason. I'm assuming the system, the TWC system's like, okay, hey, something seems a little bit fishy. Let's just go ahead and double check them now rather than later. Or maybe it's like, hey, everything's been fine for 6 months, and then something happens, and it's like, hey, let's go ahead and check it out. Or it could just be they're like, hey, if you're getting a claim with the TWC or an unemployment claim, then we just want you to complete the identity verification. But regardless of how it's coming to be, why it's happening, well, we know why it's happening, but regardless, of who it's targeting. You're going to need to take care of it more than likely sooner or later. So one of the first things I'm going to recommend to anyone, whether you're on unemployment or not, is to make sure that you either have a driver's license or a passport that is not expired. Because I do believe that if you do not have a license or passport that is valid and not expired, if you do not have one, then you won't be able to actually complete this. And that's a huge thing because, one, if you're in a case in which you need unemployment benefits, you may not get them. And then two, if it's a case in which you have been getting unemployment benefits and you don't complete it, what will happen is that they will forfeit the benefits on one of your claims, and then they will then add an overpayment balance to your profile as well. They'll be like, hey, we shouldn't have paid you out for all these weeks in the first place, so now you also owe us this money. We don't want any of that to happen to anybody, right? So the time is 1:12 a.m. And I'm not sure if I said this already, but good morning. I think maybe I did. Whatever. And so that's like the first half of the introduction. The second half I want to bring up is that you definitely want to make sure you can do this with a smartphone. I do believe that there is a way to do it without a smartphone, and let's go ahead and actually take a look at that as well. You know, because of course we want to make sure this is viable to anyone who's doing this. So let's do ID. Oops, ID.me without a smartphone. And it's just, by the way, I'm doing this with google.com, just did a search, and then it took me over to, what is it? Their help.id.me website. So let's take a look. Do I need a smartphone to verify my identity? When verifying your identity with ID.me, you may be asked to take a selfie, a photo of your face. You can take a selfie with a smartphone, laptop, or computer with a webcam. Just to let you know, if you're doing this at least through the Texas ID.me portal, you will be taking a selfie no matter what. It's not that you may, it's that you will. Okay. The heck is do I need the so this is it? Let's see. To take a selfie with my okay, so yeah, this is not helpful. Okay, I guess this is just if someone was asking, like, this is like the FAQ. Let me see if there's anything else before we go. Okay. So, this is what I was afraid of. Oh wait, no. What's this? What's this? Wait a minute. This is not taking me to. I think it's full kind. Okay, so I see this information, but whenever I click more items, it takes me over to here, and then it doesn't mention any of the steps we just read over here. So this is what I'm a little afraid of. Is ID.me is a strange company, I guess. I remember I submitted like a ticket to one of them. I was just wanted to test out their response time, because I've been getting whenever some of the people I've been speaking to about this, they've been telling me that they never get back to me, and I was like, okay, let me check it out, and really they've never gotten back to me. That's a very scary thing whenever a company is so integral in getting a process for you to actually get your unemployment. And if they're not responding to your support tickets, that's a big problem. I'm hoping that maybe my support ticket wasn't that important. I think the one I did, I was just like asking about discounts just to see if I could get a response, because I didn't have like a proper account. But anyway, yeah. So if you don't have a smartphone, here's the other thing I wanted to bring up, is that what I would recommend is, of course, friends or family, seeing if they have a smartphone that you can use. If that's not available, I understand. The library, definitely make sure whenever you speak to the librarian, you ask them, like, hey, can I be placed in a section that's going to be private? That way you can what is it? That way that you can do this without being bothered, as well as people not stealing your information. And absolutely make sure you ask them or tell them, like, hey, in case you don't know how to like clear the browser, all the private information, definitely make sure you have them clear everything out that might be related to you, because you don't want anyone to come on that computer and be like, woohoo, just rubbing their hands together, and just like being like, man, this is it, this is the gold mine, or whatever. So definitely make sure you clear any type of data related to you off of that computer before you leave, and definitely ask the librarian to help you out if you need help with that. And then the last part of this introduction is going to be, I'm sorry, the other thing is, like, if there's no local library that's going to help you, the last, or maybe not, this doesn't have to be the last choice, but maybe you can do this before the library, but you can actually call up a workforce solutions office, and you would essentially ask them, like, hey, one, can I set up an appointment to come into the office? More than likely, you'll be able to do that at this point. And then two, you'll be asking about if anyone there has any like training or any kind of like knowledge base in regards to ID.me, because this can be a pretty tricky website if you don't know what you're doing. It's taken me quite a while to get all the knowledge that I have. And I don't have everything, of course. So there's certain questions I just can't answer, but I'll do my best. And that's what I'm hoping for at the actual TWC Workforce Solutions office you go to, is that if you can set up an appointment, that that one, they'll have a computer that you can set up for you. Two, they actually have someone that can actually help you out in case you run into some issues. All right. Maybe you can even pull up this video while you're there. I don't know. And so let's go. The next thing I want to make sure is that people know how to find their local Workforce Solutions office. So TWC, oh, right there. You're just gonna. I just typed in TWC Workforce Solutions office location, or actually I typed in a little bit and then auto-filled it. And so let's click on directory of Workforce Solutions offices and services. We're gonna type in a zip code. I'm just gonna do 78703. I think I used to live there. I don't remember. It's been a while. All right. And it just, whenever you put your zip code, it will give you a list of the places around you. The big thing you'll want to focus on is, of course, the phone number. That's the one you'll be dialing to get in touch with them, as well as the address to kind of figure out, which one's the closest to you. And so that's the introduction. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me take a sip of this water. Made in America. Oh, actually it says it's imported. All right, so now let's actually talk about what I think is the hardest part for people, is actually getting to the website. And so usually what I've heard from folks is that they'll be getting like a correspondence in their electronic correspondence inbox, which is associated with their TWC online account. It'll be like, hey, you need to verify your identity. Please click this link, and then it should take you to the website. If you don't have electronic correspondence, I believe they should be sending it through mail. I hope that is the case. Most of the people I talk to say they don't receive a lot of mail from the TWC, so take that for what it's worth. But if you do find out you need to complete this, let's go ahead and talk about how to get to the proper website to do it, because you can definitely get mixed up here. In fact, I remember a time when if you went to google.com and you did like twc.id.me, it would actually show up. The website that you need to go to would actually show up. And then after a couple of months, what would happen is like the website lost its description. This little info right here would like not be there. It'd say like no description. So it'd be kind of like people would think it's shady. And then now when you do it, it's just not even there. It's strange. So sorry, I was reading this little part. Coleman said jokingly as she found an email showing failed attempts to reach the TWC's hired identity verification firm, ID.me. Wait 6 weeks to get unemployment. It's sad things like that that kind of made me want to do these videos in the first place. Anyway, so let's get back to the ways to get to the website. So the first way is, of course, going to be the simplest way, if you have the URL, right? The web URL, which is highlighted here and, right there. So what you can do is you bring up an actual web browser. I recommend Google's Chrome. Apple has Safari. Usually Internet Explorer has just general issues. So if you have to use that, go ahead. I'm not sure if Netscape is still a thing, but I definitely like their logo. And the page you want to go to is hosted-pages.id.me /Texas spelled out TWC identity proofing. It should take you right there. So let's go over the next way to do it. Let me put these notes down. This is usually how I help out folks who give me a ring. I don't know how they get to my number, but they got my number. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going ahead. So yeah, you would just go to google.com and then you would just type in twc.id.me. That's your search. Remember, this is a search, we're not putting it in the browsing area, right? A lot of people make that mistake. It's okay. And you're going to see a search result that says unemployment benefits identity theft. You're going to click on that. Feel free to read this information if you like to. We're going to go and skip through it because we know exactly where we're going. And you're going to click on the part where it says what to do if you receive a notice to what to do if you receive a notice to verify your identity through ID.me. Go ahead and click on that. And then of course you'll see it takes you to the section of the page we're already on that that hyperlink is related to, and you're actually going to click on the part where it says verify my claim by using id.me. It's in a very strange green box. I'm not sure why it's like that, but you click on that, and guess what? You're there. You got some nice little blue bonnets and a sunset, and if you take one of these blue bonnets, you will go to jail. State flower. So let's go over the third method. Technically the fourth method, because the first method would be actually getting the email from the TWC telling you to do it. So we'll just call this the fourth method. So you go to the TWC's website, twc.texas.gov. And then you're going to see the part where it says chat with us. Go ahead and tap your finger on that. Looks like we got Larry. He's a virtual assistant. Go ahead and choose your language preference. I'm going to choose English. And then where it says, how can I help you today? You're going to skip all of these options. And you're just going to type in you're going to type in id.me. And then you're just going to go ahead and click or tap your finger on id.me. And it should take you to the page. Now, there will be some folks who go through this method, the chat with us method, that will run into an issue in which your phone will be like, this pop-up is blocked, or on your computer, this pop-up is blocked. Definitely just look up, how to allow pop-ups on whatever device you're on. You can do that with a Google search. What I would do is, of course, go to google.com, and then I would type in how to allow pop-ups on a Android phone. I don't really know any Android phones anymore. Oh, Galaxy S9. You might want to have it specific to the phone. I think that might be even more helpful. It's up to you though. There we go. Let's get out of that. Let's get out of this. Let's get out of that. Okay, we'll leave that for later. Okay, so I'll mention this later, but okay, now that we know how to get here, one of the first pitfalls that unfortunately people run into is that they see the nice picture, they go down, and then they read this part, which they should. If you did not file this claim, stop here. You do not need to verify your identity with id.me. And then it tells you to visit a website, which is actually for submitting your a fraud report or fraud ticket. And so the thing is, I don't know what happens, but people read this and they're like, oh, and then they end up clicking on that. Funny enough, it doesn't even take you to the fraud submission portal. It takes you to a page that tells you about the fraud submission portal and where to go. So you go ahead and you click on that, and it actually takes you here. And then people don't see, UI fraud submission. They start entering their information. They're like, this is easy, type of submission, proof of ID. You see that, and you're like, this is easy. This is what I need to do. And then unfortunately, they're on the wrong page. So absolutely, you only need to click on this if someone has filed a fraudulent claim with your name and social security number, and you need to get it reported, right? If you're here because the TWC asked you to verify your identity, then you actually need to go and continue reading on. I do also want to mention that if someone has stolen your identity and has done any kind of fraud, one, I'm sorry that's happened to you. I can only imagine how tough that is. I've heard that's one of the worst, maybe not one of the worst crimes, but it can be, it's just devastating to go through. And then two, do not complete the identity verification through ID.me if your identity's been stolen, okay? It will only allow the fraudster to actually get your benefits. And what you would want to do is actually click on this link to have that reported. Okay. So now we can go ahead and read through this page. It's really easy. It's short, nothing crazy in here. This essentially tells you what you'd be going through. And this is we're going to try to go as many steps as we can. I wanted to mention this earlier is that, I can only get so far because I'm not truly verifying my identity right now. I'm just getting people to a certain spot. And then I just wanted to give some information that might be helpful. Let me take a little sip of water. Okay. Deep breath. Okay. So one of the things I'm going to recommend is that you, if you need this, go ahead and click on the ID.me guide. Oh goodness. Okay. It kind of just gives you like a rundown again of like what you'll be doing. If you need it, go ahead and click on it. If you don't need it, you can go ahead and move on without it. We're gonna go ahead and go without it because this is just really this shouldn't take you that long. But there are some people who will just run into issues. One, because maybe their address on their license isn't up to date, or maybe they're not so tech savvy and they're having issues navigating the website. It's a couple of things could happen there. So we're just trying to make sure that we can get people here, and then if they run into issues, we'll try to talk about ways they can hopefully get around them, as well as if you run into any like dire issues, definitely make sure you get some help from somebody. Okay, somebody who's actually can like sit next to you and go through this. Of course, the TWC's telecenter at 1-800-939-6631. Option 3 may be able to help you out as well. So definitely keep that in mind as well. So then let's go ahead and actually click on the part you need to go to next. You're going to click on verify with ID.me. And then you're going to type in your email. And of course, a password. Oh, oops. I'm sorry. So you actually need to, new to ID.me, you would actually go to create an ID.me account. And I just created a new email address. And what's going to happen is I may have to kind of switch between accounts and screens because, what's it called? I already have an account with a phone number associated with it, and it may not allow me to have that phone number associated with this account as well. So just be prepared for that. Let me make sure I remember what this password is. You're going to accept the ID.me terms of service and privacy policy, and then you can create an ID.me account. Okay, so this is going to come up with a screen. We sent an email to, the email address you listed here. And if you cannot find the email, please check your spam folder. It can take up to 10 minutes to receive the email. I haven't seen this happen anyway where it takes 10 minutes, but sometimes it's taking like 5 or 7. So definitely be aware that it can take some time, okay? And this thing is just going to be spinning the entire time. It doesn't mean that like once it like if it's like it's going to stop and like, oh, it's set. It's just going to, I believe, actually just continue. I think it's actually waiting for you to actually click on the confirmation. So let's do a refresh of our Gmail. Looks like it came in. And what's gonna happen here, make sure you get to this as soon as possible. The link will expire in 15 minutes. If for some reason you can't actually click on this little button, you can actually just input you can copy, and then let me get this closer. And you can just paste that code over here. We're actually going to click on the button because copying and pasting can be a little bit difficult sometimes. Okay, so your email has been confirmed. Thank you for confirming your email. Please return to the other window or tab to continue with Texas TWC. You may now close this browser window or tab. Okay. So next is going to go through multi-factor authentication, which is just a fancy term for, an extra layer of security, because of course you're going to be having your identity and all this stuff in here. So what I would recommend, of course you can go through these and find one that's going to fit you, is probably the text message or phone call. You would go ahead and give them your phone number, and then you would go ahead and, And whenever you're actually signing in, is that they will actually... They will actually send you a code if you choose text me. If you choose call me, they'll actually call you and then read off a message with an automated voice. So, of course, this phone number is going to be blocked, so you can't see that. I'm going to choose to text me. Let's see. Okay, now I got the text message. Let me take a look. Valoria. Okay, here's what we got. 918367. Phone number cannot be used for multi-factor authentication. I do believe they do send out another email in regards to this. Let's check it out. They do. So this will be the second email you get. The first email will be confirming your what's it called? I need to make sure I block this out, of course. Um, but yeah, I'll just go ahead and keep it to this part, and then I'll block out the rest. But yeah, you will be getting an email saying you have enabled multi-factor authentication. I'm going to actually have to do some editing, which is not very fun. Okay. And then you can choose to have a recovery code if you want. A recovery code can be used in the event you lose access to your multi-factor authentication device. Completely optional if you want to do this or not. I'm going to go ahead and continue without it. It's going to tell you stop and read. This site is to verify your identity and access your state's website for unemployment assistance. If you are not filing for unemployment, stop. Criminals are misleading people with scams like fraudulent job offers, winning money, or dating sites in order to try to take over people's identity. If you were sent to the site for any reason other than government unemployment assistance, click here. Otherwise, click below to continue. So yeah, you are going to be clicking I'm filing for unemployment. Let's see. Dating sites. I ain't falling for that. And hopefully you're not either. Okay, so let's see what we got here. So yeah, looks like whenever you're first going through this, they either want your license or your state ID card, a photo of your passport, or a photos of your passport card. So we may not be able to get too far at this point, but we're definitely going to try, okay? So we're going to go ahead and do license. In the event of discrepancy, okay, yeah. So there's going to be biometric. I believe the biometric stuff is because they'll be actually scanning your photo and all that stuff. So you just scroll through that. And I don't know what they're gathering over here, but they got it all. Oh my goodness. Yep. I will allow you to clone me. All right. So as you can see here, what they're looking for is to make sure your document is up to date and valid. Your document's clear and readable. You take the photo on a well-lit flat surface. All of that's going to be very important. Do not take that, do not take that lightly. So absolutely make sure it's well-lit. Absolutely make sure it's on a flat surface and make sure everything is readable on it, because what's happened to people is that the information will be pulled from the license card, or the pictures, I should say, and then they'll be like, okay, you live at 1148 McDonald's Road, and you're like, no, I live in McDonald's Road, and it's like, well, whoops, you should have cleaned your license. So definitely make sure everything is readable whenever you take the photo and you review it yourself. I've had that conversation like that where people are like, whoa, I can see how they made that mistake. So definitely make sure you take care of that. Let me see if we can get away with not doing this by just uploading some random photos. 16 megabyte 16 megabyte is there a limit? So let's go to desktop. I got some pictures here. I think that's like probably, so this may, okay, yeah. So looks like we may have to do a stopping point here. Okay, well, got a photo in here. Let me see what happens if I just do continue. Really, at this point, if you can get here, you might be okay. You actually will more than likely be okay. There's going to be some people who are going to have some issues. Okay. My photos that I took with my film camera are being checked for authenticity. Oh my goodness, I'm out of here. Authenticity. I'm editing that all out. You'll never hear that. So let's see what happens. We couldn't read your driver's license, state ID. Okay, so yeah, this is essentially going to be the stopping point. Is that I'm not going to be uploading my documents here. I just wanted to make sure that we were at least I was able to get people to this point, because once people can get here, that's when they're going to be like pretty much okay, right? The most difficult things I see people having trouble is getting to the website, understanding what they need to do, and that there's a due date associated with it. And so I'm glad we were able to get this far. I'm sorry I couldn't take it to the next level, but I do believe you should be okay as long as you take your time, you read through the information carefully and slowly, and if you need help, that you get help, all right? So let me go ahead and pull up my notes and see what else I wrote in here. Okay. Okay. So one of the things is like they'll be doing a facial scan. And so after they do that, a lot of people think, "Oh, well, I'm just done." But the thing is, you'll need to make sure you navigate back to the part where it's like it's going like steps 1 through 5. Absolutely make sure you can get back there, because just because they do the facial scan doesn't mean you're done with everything. Okay, a lot of people unfortunately can't navigate back to the tab where they need to. I'm not exactly sure what's happening. I haven't seen that in front of me. It's just whenever I've people have given me a ring or a call, that's something that they tell me about. So absolutely, whenever they do the facial scan, definitely make sure you get back to the tab you need to. All right. The next thing is if you run into, multiple issues like the system just is not taking your identity, or it just keeps pulling in incorrect information, continue doing it. I think it's like 3 or 4 or 5 times. And then the website will be like, okay, we need to get you with a trusted referee. And don't worry, this isn't like a horrible thing. This will just means that it just means that you need to do a video call with yourself and a person over at ID.me that's actually going to check out your documents in person. Okay, so if that happens, what I want you to do to prepare yourself is like, one, they should have the information in front of you, absolutely. But if they don't, you can do a search on Google for ID.me primary documents, because it's going to be asking for primary as well as secondary documents. As you can see here, it talks about the trusted referee process. And let me go backwards before I do that. So all I did was click on trusted referee process. You probably don't even need to go this far. I haven't seen anyone have to like go through like a full document or anything like that. But let's go ahead and let's go through it together really quickly. So what is a trusted referee video call? If your online identity verification attempt was unsuccessful, you'll be routed to our trusted referee verification option. Again, it may not happen on your first try. It may take like 2 or 3 times or 4 times. So definitely, if you can't get to them, if this option doesn't come up the first time and you need it, and you'll know you need it because the system just won't allow you to verify your identity, then you'll just need to go ahead and keep trying and trying again. All right. Trusted referees are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. In order to meet with a trusted referee, you must first upload and present acceptable documentation, such as a driver's license or passport, to verify your identity. A trusted referee will review your documents before connecting with you over video chat. If your documents are acceptable, you will then enter a short video chat to show your physical documents to the trusted referee. If you are prompted to verify your identity on a video call with a trusted referee, please follow the steps below. Okay, so it looks like you'll choose get started, review and update your information if it needs to be updated. Looks like you'll be typing in your social security number. And then let's read this part. Gather your documents. Proving your identity is as simple as uploading a photo of 2 primary documents or 1 primary and 2 secondary documents. That's why I went ahead and got this page up over here. We'll take a look at, examples of primary and secondary documents in just a bit. Okay. Actually, whenever you're doing it, you'll see a list of acceptable types of primary and secondary documents. Select which type of documents you want to upload. Additionally, you will need to include a selfie, a photo of yourself. Okay. If you select to take photos, type in your phone number to receive a link to upload your documents. If you selected choose image, you will be able to upload your documents already stored on your device. You'll receive a text message with a secure link from ID.me to take photos of your documents and a photo of yourself. And then you'll just take photos of your documents here. When prompted to take a selfie, you'll go ahead and do that. And then confirm you have the documents before meeting with a trusted referee. Okay. And then you'll actually join the video call with a trusted referee. Okay. All right, so what I've heard from people about this is that sometimes the wait times can be quite extreme. I've heard of people stating like, they waited, like they had their wait time was potentially like 2 to 3 hours or 4 hours. So definitely be aware that can happen. Um, so I'm sorry if that does occur. Um, but yeah, it can definitely be like 4 to 5 hours if that does happen. Definitely just make sure that you keep refreshing the screen. That's one thing I've heard that people should be doing. And then the ETA will be reacting in real time. So if like 2 or 3 people that needed a trust referee disappear, something like that, then your wait time will be reduced, of course. And so give me 1 second. I will be right back. Was the last bit of information about this and a final thought, if I can think of anything, because my computer's about to power down, and I don't want that to happen. So just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna stop the video, and of course, you guessed it, we'll be right back.
The journey begins in a misty spring sky above the fertile Yakima Valley. Tim Hansen has returned to apple country. Soon these beautiful blossoms will become ripe, red, delicious apples. The kind Tim will blend with apples from Oregon and California for the perfect old-fashioned natural apple juice. Tim travels the West for his friends who drink Hansen's apple juices and apple juice blends. Have an all-natural Hansen's.
You know, Wendy's Super Bar is great for families because there's something for everyone. Like our fresh salads from our garden spot, Mexican food, including do-it-yourself tacos, and delicious pasta with your choice of sauce. There's even dessert. And you can come back as often as you like. Plus, right now our Super Bar is an even better value.
Because every day after 4 p.m., Wendy's all-you-can-eat and drink Super Bar is just $3.99.
Gee, it must be 4 o'clock.
Da, 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 na, 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 dun, 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 dun. Okay. All right, welcome back. Goodness gracious. Let's see. So I'm a little bit reluctant to offer this advice, but I think you should definitely go through all the channels you can for support. So if you're running into issues with ID.me, you can't get through with the what is it? The trusted referee. You're having trouble getting through was the Workforce Solutions office. You're having trouble with the library. A friend can't help you out. The next thing I would do, which is kind of, you would think this would be the first one, but it's actually going to be the ID.me support team. I'm sorry. I mentioned this earlier. I've gone through this myself. I've heard other things from people. Let's hope that they've done some more with this. Maybe it's just work overload. They don't have enough people to answer these questions. I don't know. But what you would do, one of the things you can try to do is bring up the chat bubble. They'll, of course, be asking for your email and your name. And then you can also do contact support. And if you're curious how I got here, you can either get here by going to help.id.me, or what I like to do, you know me in Google. I just typed in id.me support, first search result, clicked on that, took me right there. And then all you have to do is just click on contact support, and it should take you to a place where you can submit a ticket. One would hope they would get in touch with you within 24 to 48 hours, but times are tough. The good times are killing me. Okay, so yeah, you can definitely choose. Hopefully, it's like I think it starts off broad, and then it goes. Yeah, it gives you some more drop down options. So something like, I don't know, I need help getting verified, and then you would actually choose. Let's go. I think you can type in. No, I can't type it in. Let's go to TWC, Texas Workforce Commission, and then you would go into details about what's going on. And so yeah, that would be like I forgot I wrote that down. I should have mentioned that earlier. My apologies. So I'll make sure I put a little note there. Okay. So next thing we're going to go through is a confirmation that your ID has been verified. So the good news is there's a number of ways to go through this. The first way is that once you've submitted your social security number, you've gone through the last step, it will actually say your identity's been verified, something along those lines. It will be very clear to you, and it's not going to be like, is this real, or is everything? Yeah, it'll be very apparent. The next thing is that you will receive a confirmation email from ID.me stating, hey, your identity's been verified and it's being sent over to the TWC. Okay. And then the last thing you can always do is, as if you actually sign into your account, let's actually do that right now. Let's get to that page. If you try signing into your account, give me 1 second. Got to black out the screen, of course. They're going to send me a 6-digit code. And then I'm just going to go ahead and type it in. It's the 341231. Click it, continue. Stop and read. I'm filing for unemployment. And this screen it won't ask you to submit your documents anymore. Instead, it'll be like, hey, you're all set. Your identity's been verified. So definitely make sure that you know your ways, the different ways in which you'll be confirmed, because I don't want you to, be in limbo after you've gone through all this just to be like, is it done? Is it not done? There's a number of ways I just listed that should tell you like everything's been completed correctly on the ID.me side. Now, going over to the TWC side. So it could take about 5 to 7 days. Sometimes people have told me it's taken less than that. If you're signed up for electronic correspondence, and I highly recommend it if you can do it, is that you'll actually receive a correspondence letter from the TWC in your electronic correspondence inbox stating that your identity has been processed. Now, if you don't receive it, it's been like 5 days, definitely give the TWC telecenter a call, the 1-800-939-6631 number, and option 3, and then just be like, hey, can you check the decision log to see if my identity's been processed yet? After it's been 5 days and they're like, hey, we don't see it in here, go ahead and wait till the 7th day. Give a call to telecenter if you don't see it in your electronic correspondence box, and just ask them like the same thing, like, hey, is it in there? Mostly it's usually in there. I'm sure there's going to be some rare cases in which you've done everything right and it's not showing up. In that case, of course, you'll need to get transferred over to the TWC's inquiry team. Okay. To get in touch with them, you'll first call the TWC telecenter line, choose option 3, and then request to get transferred over to the TWC's inquiry team. Okay. Okay. And then lastly, if you weren't able to complete this in time, and there's a couple ways this might happen. So like I mentioned earlier, this could take about 5 to 7 days to get processed by the TWC. And when the TWC asks you to do this, I think they give you 10 days or longer. And if you happen to wait till the 6th day to do it, and you actually do it on the 6th day, and it's due, 10 days after it's been requested of you, what could happen is, even if you do it on the 6th day, it could take, that 5 to 7 days, like I said, to get processed, and the TWC could list you temporarily as ineligible for your benefits, which is really unfair and not fun to go through. The good news is, hopefully the system should be auto-reversing that ineligibility. And what they should do is that the system should be like, okay, first we listed them as ineligible because we didn't receive it in time, but hey, it's in the system now, so we're going to go ahead and automatically reverse that ineligibility. Now, if that doesn't happen, you'll then need to get in touch with the TWC's inquiry team and request that they get it reversed as soon as possible. And whatever weeks that you didn't get paid out for because of the ineligibility, you'll go ahead and make sure that they get you paid out for that as well. And that's it. That is really the most I can offer about ID.me. I know the video is not as long as the last one, which is probably to more people's liking. You know, the 15 people who watched this one. 1 second. Canadian water. But yeah, that's it. I don't have much as a final thought because I definitely need to, get all the audio situated, get all the video situated, and actually upload the video. And I don't want to mess about. So I'll just be trying to get that taken care of. If anything, I do want to say, I'm at least gonna do 1 or 2 more videos. The next one's gonna be about the extended benefits that's happening for some people who did not draw extended benefits, in the last year, or have drawn extended benefits at all in this case. So that'll be one of the things. The other thing is, like, if you're having an issue in which you do have a valid claim right now and you're unable to submit a payment request, we do, or I would highly recommend that you get in touch with the TWC's inquiry team to get that checked out. Definitely, if you're submitting a payment request online and it's not working, definitely try to use teleserve. This is a couple of tips I can give you, but really you should be calling the TWC's telecenter for additional assistance. So yeah, right now it's not too fun. Even all these places reopening, it can be still incredibly difficult to get a job, especially a job that's going to be paying all the bills, or at least most of the bills, which is just really what anyone wants. And yeah, for anyone who's having to go through this, like, I'm so sorry. I can only imagine just how difficult it is. I know I've gotten pretty lucky, but even now it feels like sometimes my luck's running out in some things. I definitely got to like buckle down on some things, so I'll be doing that myself. But I hope these videos are helpful. I hope the Reddit threads out there are helpful. I'm on there right now. I recently joined in June, I should say, and I'm trying to do my best. I definitely have kind of fell off a bit on answering questions. I forgot my Reddit name. I think it's like CCM employee, something like that. So I'll definitely do my best to try to answer some questions there, if anyone can even find this video in the first place. But I do wish everyone out there the best of luck, whether you're on unemployment or not. It may happen to you. Hopefully you don't have to go through this. Trust me, anyone who's on unemployment doesn't want to be on unemployment, at least the majority of people. So if you could just be a little bit more kinder to these type of people who are on this stuff, for the most part, it's not their fault. I mean, how could you ever look down on someone who's going through something like this? But every so often I'll still see, posts, people like, go get a job. Just like, oh my goodness, man, just take it easy. You don't understand. But anyway, let's wrap it up. What's that? Because I have nothing else to say. Let me go ahead and get to work and hopefully get this out as soon as possible. Maybe I can even edit it and get it out the same night. I'm hoping. I have like 2 more hours before I got to go to bed. So let's see what happens. So take care, everyone, and goodbye.
Marissa, congratulations on the engagement. Happy birthday. I want to say I'm an ally to Italian Americans. That's it. Anytime you need an ally.
For what?
For Italian Americans, then let me know.